everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm Jess Milner. I'm so glad you're here to nourish your roots with me. It is April 1st, and I don't have any jokes for you today. I did post something on my social media. It was actually from a couple of years ago. So if you want to check that out, it was cute. Um, so April 1st. Okay, so this year, Easter is later than it is some years. So we still have just about 3 weeks until Easter. So I thought that I would talk a little bit about some of the options that are out there to have a more holistic, crunchy, healthy Easter because it's really, there's a lot of chocolate, and I'm not against chocolate bunnies. I'm not against candy altogether, but sometimes you take a look at things, go, how am I going to do this? So I thought that I would give some ideas. Okay. So, and most of this is just stuff that I've done over the years. Right now, none of my family members absolutely have to say gluten or grain free, but there was a time when we did. So I would make any treats and stuff. We make babka every year. So I actually did make a gluten-free babka for a few years. And it's not as good, but it's yummy and it did the trick and it was totally fine. So you can always, that's one of the first things. If you are gluten or grain free, you can probably find a recipe that's going to allow you to make some of those things that you would normally make without using the wheat flour or any kind of grain flour for that matter. The other thing that's super, super easy to do, so no matter what you're doing, if you're making like a carrot cake for dessert or whatever it is that you would like to indulge in for Easter dessert, you can always just go and get all organic ingredients. So you can go and get the organic cane sugar. Sunrise flour mill is fantastic, or you can find an organic flour at the store. Sunrise is really it's good for digestion. Because it's pre-1950s and it's not, compromised in the same way as most of our flours are, even the organic ones on the shelves. But, do whatever you can do. If there is still time to order Sunrise Flour Mill if you want to between now and then. So if that's something that you want to do, you certainly can. You can choose dye-free options. Now, there are like dye-free options for most of like the classic candies that we would do. So like even like jelly beans, gummy bears and stuff like that. Yum Earth is one of my favorite ones. My kids love the Giggles and the Sour Giggles, which are like Skittles. They're actually very comparable in like consistency and everything like that. And the kids love them. And then you don't have to feel as bad. You're not giving your kids like, yes, you're giving them sugar because it is sugar, but you're not giving them like a ton of dyes and stuff too. So they're bouncing off the walls just because of the sugar and, it's not affecting behavior and stuff like that with all the other issues that come with consuming the artificial dyes. And, like every now and then my kids do get themselves into artificial dyes if they're out somewhere, and I don't like it, but it's just one of those things that I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to like super shame them for it or anything like that. But when we have a holiday like this, we still like to make sure that we're not doing that we're not deliberately giving anything like that out. Remember, you can always control what goes on in your own house, and then you don't have to feel as bad about worrying so much about things that are outside of your house, unless of course you have like something going on where somebody is going through a program, you're detoxing, you're going through a time where you're allowing your body to heal. So we don't want to get anything in the way of that healing operation that your body is doing. So when you are actively in a program or something like that, you might want to be a little bit more strict. But for the most part, you can, a little bit here, a little bit there. Although I don't super recommend it, it's not the end of the world and it's not a reason to go hang your head in shame, if that makes sense. Okay. So So yeah, Yum Earth, I think they make jelly beans and stuff like that, which is fantastic. So you can always grab something like that. And so they have lollipops, jelly beans. So you can do that, the cute little trick where you say, okay, like let's go plant some jelly beans and see what happens. And then like in the morning, there's a lollipop there, like it grew a lollipop. That was always a really cute one. And then, so you can always grab like toys and stuff. I know a lot of folks like to put some spring and summer toys and stuff, into Easter baskets. So things like, like how to like something like magnifying glasses so that you can like go out and like turn over rocks and look at bugs and stuff like that, or really get a good look at leaves and things like that on trees and stuff. For younger kids that are, especially that are doing homeschool and they're just starting to get into like earth science and stuff like that, that's something that's really cool. That they can, and you can like incorporate that into their learning and stuff like that. But if anybody likes to, if the kids like to help garden, then you could get them like their own supplies for gardening. If you're in warmer weather than I am, and you're starting to get ready for summer, you can get them some things that are going to be good for useful in the pool or at the beach or something like that. So those kinds of things are always fun. Like let's get ready for this hot season of sun that we're having coming towards us soon. So those are always fun things too. And then, for like, I mean, there's lots of little toys, like that you can fit into an Easter basket. So like whatever it is that your kids like, I mean, it's never been like an expensive holiday for us, it's just like, some candy and a couple of toys or whatever. But you can get like whatever little toys, expensive or not, that fit into their basket or next to it or whatever, and like make it all cute and everything. So you can do that and have like minimal candy, like you have the candy in there, you've got the organic candy in there. Maybe like you have like some little chocolate eggs that you found that are fantastic, and that's great. And the kids are going to have a great time with that. You can also do things like, I mean, you can put fresh fruit in there. You can put, snacks that aren't candy in there. Like if your kids really like crackers and stuff like that, they're not the greatest thing either, but they're going to be lower in sugar. So if you want to put like some packs of like the Annie's bunnies or whatever cute little thing, or maybe you make your own and you want to put them into cute little bags or something like that. I haven't actually done that one, but why not, right? Um, and then for Easter eggs that you would fill up with like candy, I've seen a lot the question coming across on social media a lot, like what are we supposed to put in there? Because like there's already going to be some candy in the basket. I really don't want them just like filled with more candy if I can help it. So one of our favorite things to throw into there is some crystals, some rocks. You can go to like a rock shock, a rock shop, and like it's rather inexpensive to get like a little bag of like random crystals, random rocks. You can order them on Amazon too. So you get like a bag of however many of them, and you put a couple of those in each one, and then so they get these treasures as well. So you can do anything like that. Oh, sometimes people do money. Money tends to get a little bit messy if you've got really little kids and you don't want them putting that in their mouth, or the rocks either. So use your judgment. If you've got like really young kids, it'll be like, oh, crystal, let me just put this in my mouth. It looks like chocolate or it looks like candy. So use your discretion with that. But things like that, and then like, I mean, like dollar store toys or stickers. I mean, kids absolutely love stickers. I would recommend getting like some kind of like Easter coloring book or something that they are meant to put the stickers on, because I mean, if you have the experience with stickers that I do in my house, like I every time my kids get a sticker now, I'm like, I better not find this on the floor, on the couch, on the cabinet. Like these stickers, like, I mean, I have scraped more stickers off the floor and the walls and the cabinets in my houses. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. So, so when I was little, I had a sticker book. Like, it was a whole big, like, sticker book. It was like plastic and puffy, and I loved this thing. And I put all my stickers in there. But yeah, there's not too many sticker books anymore. So that's just funny. But yeah, if you have something like that, like, oh, let's keep all these in here. Because for me, getting all the damn stickers off of everything in the house when the kids are like, oh, I'll just stick this here because why not? I'm like, no, not on the floor. Just scraping it off the hardwood. And those things stick something fierce. I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't want to stick to what they put it on the paper. You just put it on the floor and it's there to stay. So that's just funny. But yeah, things like this, if you've got like older kids, there could even be like, I mean, different like supplements or like makeup or like, I mean, there's so many different things that you can like throw in there. Poofy Organics has some great stuff. You could get like chapsticks and like with color, they have like the colored lip glosses and things like that for girls that are, like preteens and things like that can go easily into an Easter basket. And they can keep them on like the lower side. I know Natural Life, the company that they have all kinds of really cute clothes I wear and like stuff for the house and everything. They also have like cute little tiny trinkets and stuff, that are fun, like things that like can hang up or whatever. So if you have girls, then that might be something that you can like stick into their Easter basket, hang it from it or something like that. And that's a cool thing. And it's not something that's going to, like spike their blood sugar and make them act like a crazy person at church or at brunch or whatever it is, what family member's house, whatever it is you're doing for the day. It's always funny, the parents are like, okay, so the kids, like, I tried to get them to eat food too, but they definitely basically had candy for breakfast. So, like, let's see how their behavior goes. And then there's just like no negotiating with like a 6-year-old who has had way too much candy. So keeping it at a minimum is always great. And letting them know ahead of time, hey, like we are going to pick one thing that we're going to have, and then you can have something else after we like have our meal or whatever. But make sure that there are some fun things for them to play with. So we also have we have this Easter game. I think I posted a video of it the first year that we had it. So they're wooden spoons with little wooden eggs. And basically everybody gets one, the colors match, and you have to like race. So you have to like hold it steady and go across, get to the other line and come back. And it's fun to do that outside, to have like little Easter egg races. So, the Easter egg hunts, there can be lots of fun stuff going on that doesn't necessarily have to involve, candy. So you can always kind of alter that around. And like I said, like the dollar store has like some great toys, and like, I mean, like they're crap, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you just want to like put some stuff in there to make it look fun, and then like you don't care if it breaks or whatever. And, if that's not the kind of thing that you want to do, well, then don't. There's so many other options out there for just like things that you can just grab, you can put together almost like anything. You can like pick some flowers and wrap those up and put them in. You can gather up like different sticks. I mean, honestly, if my husband and I like went outside and gathered up all of the sticks outside that could be used as like some sort of gun or rifle in like his fighting games, like he runs around outside and he's shooting his skibbity toilets and having like incidents with Shy Guy and this and that. And I'm only like I sort of know what everything is with all of those, but he runs around out there and he's like shooting all this stuff. So if we were to just like gather up a bunch of like gun-shaped sticks and put them in his basket, he would like lose his mind. That would be so much fun. And then, of course, there are always dye-free options for things. So for dyeing eggs, the dyes, without using the artificial dyes, they don't color super well. So I've done a few different things over the years. I've left them in there overnight with like extra vinegar, left them in like, in the fridge, like in like the mason jars and stuff. And it gets a little bit of color. It's pretty, but it's not as deep of a color as you're really totally looking for most of the time. I've also done where like we melted down crayons and and then you kind of like throw it in with the hot water, it gets around it and then put it in the cold and like kind of like it just like sticks to the egg, and you can like put flowers in there and stuff too. So like a couple of them came out looking pretty cool, but it was kind of, I mean, so it was really cute. Like I had like purple crayon with like a violet on there. So that was pretty cool. But and not all of them really came out looking all that great. What I've been doing, because we do like hard-boiled eggs, so we do like to do that. The last couple years, I've just been getting the little plastic like Paisenki wraps that you just put on there. You stick it on a spoon into the boiling water real quick and right back out. And there you go. And it has like a pretty pattern on it and stuff. And then, and that plastic is like, it's on the outside on the shell. So it's not like getting right to the egg and everything. So like we've been doing that. It's much easier than like trying to get all the dyes. And the dyes, like, the natural dyes, some are better than others, absolutely. And some people are really good at getting the colors to come out. I've never been super successful with getting all of the colors to come out. So rather than being frustrated, that's what I tend to do. So please do share if you have like a way to get them to dye and be beautiful. The other thing with this method is that if you can only find brown eggs or whatever, I mean, like we got an egg thing going on lately. So, you can put the wraps on them and you can still see it. Whereas like when you're dyeing brown eggs, very few colors are going to shine through the way that you want them to. So the other thing that we've decided to do is I'm going to attempt this year. We got the We got big marshmallows. I ordered them from Thrive Market. So I think they're organic. They're like the organic vegan ones. It's in a blue bag. So they're the bigger ones that you would like use to roast marshmallows or whatever. Actually, they could be a little bit bigger. But we were thinking because my daughter saw a thing where people were like, hey, let's dye marshmallows instead of eggs because like there's an egg shortage and whatever. So I was like, okay. So that's something that we're going to try this year is we're going to try dyeing a couple of marshmallows, like in the two colors and just kind of see what happens to put some of that around the babka too, just like for some added color. And I mean, then the kids will be able to eat the marshmallows, but so if you're not against like all of that, and there are marshmallow options out there, and honestly, I mean, I've seen people making them. My mom has made them, but I have not made them myself. But it's just like two or three, maybe three ingredients or something like that. Anyway, you can probably easily, if you like search on TikTok, somebody has a marshmallow recipe on there that you can make at home really easily. And it'll probably even be like a holistic crunchy recipe because it's going to be somebody who doesn't want all like the corn syrup and stuff like that that's in them. So check that out because that might be an option for you too. I just bought these ones because I didn't, I mean, I might make them myself too, but I was like, let me just grab those just in case. So yeah. So there's lots of different options out there. And I mean, I'm trying to think because I didn't like actually write down any notes for this because like I mean I could sit and have a conversation about like ideas like this all day. Uh, but yeah, and just remember, it's just one day. So even if you have, like people are talking about like, oh, I'll make it my cheat day, or like you can consider it that for kids. It doesn't listen, it's okay to have like a really calorie dense day, like it happens. It's not going to make or break your weight loss journey unless you were on like a specific healing protocol for something like an autoimmune thing or something like that, that you really need to get healed up. You're trying to heal someone. See, like if your kid has lots of things they're breaking out all over the place, you're going to want to be a little bit more careful because you don't want to set them back in their program on that healing journey. But most folks are going to be able to enjoy this day and not have horrible repercussions as a result of it. Just keep everything to a minimum. You can control these kinds of things. Take a look in your area. I know where I'm from and no longer live, but there's like a crunchy Easter egg hunt that's happening in New Jersey, that you can register to be a part of. Everybody comes and does something for it. But things like that, look around in your area because there might be options for Easter egg hunts and stuff like that where they are not promoting just like tons and tons and tons of candy that have like all those extra ingredients. I mean, they make everything look really pretty and really cute, and that's fine. It's adorable, but some of those things do have like extra ingredients in them that make us kind of cringe. So, I'm really like, don't need to be there and it's very clear they don't need to be there because they make an organic version, or they make it, even if it's not organic, they make a less toxic ingredient filled option. And, and those are delicious too. So there's always an option there. You can always make your own. It's actually pretty easy to make like a peanut butter cup kind of a thing, like in a little muffin tin, because you just melt down the chocolate and you stick it on in there, get that frozen, and then you mix up like your peanut butter, your almond butter, whatever, with some butter. You put that in there and then put it back in the fridge and put some more on top. Like, I mean, you can make these kinds of things rather easily as long as you don't mind melting down some chocolate. So, there's always options to make these things wonderful, happy holidays without completely sacrificing everything that you're working with or going against all of your convictions because you know that you don't want your kids eating ABC. You don't want to eat those things either. You want to be able to bring like, oh, like I'm bringing the carrot cake to dinner and it's, I'm going to use all organic ingredients, and honestly, probably nobody's even going to notice. They're just gonna be like, wow, this is delicious. So, you can make things with just, choosing a better starting ingredient can be all that you need to do. And remember, your intention is everything too. So if you are intending to have a healthier day, and if you are set and you believe and you trust your body is going to use what it needs and get rid of the rest. And if you have gone through a healing journey and you are at that point, then you know that your body's probably going to be able to do that. And you also know that if there is something that you know that your body is just going to be like, oh hell no, I cannot do that, you're going to know enough not to eat that, or you're going to know enough not to give that to your child because you saw what happened the last time. So, always use your discretion, always use your best judgment. And I hope that this was helpful for you. There are always ways that you can do a holiday without it having to be, the complete sugar catastrophe that some of them are. So, use the best ingredients that you can, grab the best things that you can, and make it a fun day and have a wonderful, wonderful Easter season with that. So I hope this was helpful. And I wanted to do it a couple weeks early so that you have time to gather up ingredients and gather up your plan. And of course, you can always ask me any questions that you want to. I want to invite you to download my emotional balance toolkit for just $7. It's great for any time. You don't need a fluffy pillow or anything. These are things that you can implement at any time, no matter where you are. I actually have a copy of it that I carry around with me most of the time, and it's just $7. So you're going to go to go.deeprootedwellnessid.com/balance and grab your copy today. Thanks so much for joining in with me with Wellness Blueprints. I hope that you are having a wonderful first day of April. Bye for now.